Do you just make that blind, pretty much blind comment?
You remind me of somebody that would sound like an English version of my little brother.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
And how old's your little brother?
I don't have one, but you sound really young.
Well, I'll take that as part compliment.
The age of my little brother. I don't have a little brother.
Wow.
You sound about as young as Azaraki does. But then again, Azaraki has the ego of like a 30-year-old and not for the age he actually is. Like, seriously, for a kid, Azaraki has one of the most overblown egos I've ever seen.
Wow.
Oh
wow,
man, but we're getting into this game.
This is humiliating to be a 20-year-old.
Wait, shouldn't younger people have bigger egos? And with that, I'll leave you guys to cast.
When you get into your early and mid-20s, like, you get a really overinflated ego. It's pretty stupid. But we're finally getting into this game. We are 14 minutes into the game. We are tied at 5 kills to 5 kills. A slight gold advantage in the favor of the red team right now. Your mashups right now are as follows. Jarvan and, oh man, I can totally see what's going on without having my summoners lined up, so I'm going to do that while you talk. Here we go for the Blitzcrank hook, the exhaust, but the jump coming out from Tristana will immediately stop that engage. And it looks like TF coming in here with some nice cards. He's going to go ahead and flash. Lux flashing in return, but no, he will go ahead and get juked out, but still manage to pick up the snipe with some wild cards. Can I go ahead and move people around on here now, or is everybody going to continue to interrupt me? And it looks like Lee Sin threw down a little bit of damage. And Azaraki, get out of here, you're a dragon.
But turn off the music as well.
I know, I'm about to. I still gotta line everything up. I'm doing all the things right now.
So I'll just go ahead and talk right now while Lou's sorting that out. We can already see that we got in the bot lane Janna and Tristana versus Varus and Blitzcrank. In the mid lane we've got Twisted Fate versus the Lux. And in jungles we've got Amumu versus the Jarvan. Whereas in the top lane we've got Lee Sin versus Renekton. These two are very commonly known as sort of AD casters, being able to dish out a lot of damage, which mainly their abilities rather than their auto attacks. Lee Sin kind of basically doing both, using a combination of his abilities and his auto attacks to do a bit of damage on enemies as he sees fit. Now, what interests me right now is seeing a Varus with a Blitzcrank. It's nice to see Blitzcrank finally picked in one of these games, but picked with a Varus as well. Now, I don't really see Varus as much as an aggressive role. Yes, he's got that long-range poke. Yes, he's got a lot of that damage coming out from his kit, but I see him more as a counter initiator compared to a sort of soul initiation role. I prefer him as a person that counter initiates on a situation rather than.
Mumu coming up into the top lane. The Renekton ultimate has been used, and there we go. There's the ultimate from Amumu, picking up a very clean kill in the top lane. 2 ultimates for a kill down there. Definitely helping to shut down that Lee Sin, who had a number of kills under his belt, presumably from the early game that we unfortunately were not able to view. And we can see that most of them look to have gone down on Renekton, so certainly picking him back up in that lane and potentially knocking over this turret as well. We can see this gold advantage slowly extending out for the red team right now. Anelace a really good team. We've seen them in this tourney a number of times, but it looks like we've got Jarvan coming up here, and oh no, TF coming in as well. Janna will fall. Unfortunate for her, she just was not able to land that tornado the right way. The Zhonya's is coming out from TF as he will go ahead and back off here. Blitzcrank really wanting to get in, and there is the Jarvan auto attack. Will be enough. Will they manage to pick up this Tristana as well? She is going to get back under the turret, but unfortunately will end up falling.
Cryptic are doing a really nice job with these engagements right now.
Lux in a lot of trouble as Amumu comes down here looking to land that bandage toss, a light binding coming out. Will they manage to do this? Yes, they are going to manage to lock her up, but with Jarvan on their heels, they're just going to go ahead and back out here.
I say Lux right now is rather behind. She is 0-3-1, and that's going to put her at a bit of a disadvantage against this TF. I don't know why they did not ban TF in this engagement. Maybe they thought they could deal with him better, but he is 4-2 right now. So maybe that might have been a bad decision on the blue team's part. We can see Amumu coming straight in here right now.
You can see him just opting to defend this turret right now. Janna coming back. Both of them trying to keep this turret alive as long as possible, and they are going to manage to defend it with little issue.
Very little issue indeed. We can already see that Blitzcrank is warding that lane there. They're basically all pink warding right now to stop any counter wards going down. Blitzcrank was trying to counter ward that first green ward there, but they just pretty much counter warded his counter ward, and that was really good choice there by the purple team.
Yeah, this dragon control is going to be really important in the next couple of minutes. It's all going to be about who manages to take down that dragon and get that extra bit of gold, which really could help to skyrocket the game. You can see the red team right now, they still have about a 2k gold advantage. Kind of lost a little bit of that 3k lead thanks to those kills going down as well as that tower. But because the blue team decided to go for that tower, they've gone ahead and they have lost this. And now Amumu is looking for the opportunity to engage here. Blitzcrank going to be caught out, and Amumu going to manage to lock up a couple people. TF coming in here, and Amumu immediately leaving, and there is the Luxall, will manage to snipe him down. Tuzurve coming in with the Zhonya's, and will manage to gold card out of there. Tristana in a world of pain as Lux picks up that double kill. Looks like, ooh, a nice disengage by Janna as Jarvan continues to pursue this Renekton. Now TF and Janna in a bit of trouble here as TF not having any mana, and there is the flash, but a nice disengage from Janna with that tornado, and TF once again not coming out with the gold card, unfortunately, and that will be a 3 for just 1 exchange in favor of the blue team.
It is sad to see that the TF did miss that gold card and actually picked up his blue card instead, which was not really what he needed. However, he was pretty much bedded down upon by 3 individuals, so I don't really think that gold card would have helped him much in that respect. So, although it was sad to see that he couldn't get that gold card, I think in that situation, space of time, he just wasn't in the right place to be able to even use that gold card effectively.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to keep in mind here, too, is the fact that, you know, Amumu needs to land slightly better ults here. Not that his ults aren't good, but he needs to take the opportunity to lock up a couple more people than that. And the focus shouldn't be on Blitzcrank in these fights. They need to be diving straight into the back line, isolating Lux, and taking her out before she can get down a full combo. The kind of poke that she can allow, as well as the sniping potential and the burst that can go down onto Tristana because of her, is pretty much unmatched right now. And they need to kind of isolate and take her out of the equation before they can really go into a fight and do whatever they want.
Really, so pretty much right now, Cryptic, they are first timers in this league, and they're doing really well right now. They are really quite nicely in the runnings to trying to be a good competitor against Anelace, which is one of our regular teams in the TowerDiveTV tournament.
I still have to give it to Lunet's Empire, though. Nobody beats a team that's named after the casters of the tournament.
Although I want to see Miss Sami. I want to see Miss Sami now. Do it. make Miss Sami.
Clearly, look, teams that name themselves after the casters and people at TowerDiveTV obviously have better chances at winning. I'm sorry, but it's true. You just got to deal with that fact.
Right. To be honest, it's been mainly named after you, though, Lulu. So
that is true. And we see the flash coming out, followed by the Twisted Fate ult, which is going to go ahead and scare them off. And now we see Lux coming up as well, and this could be a very scary thing. There's a lot of dive potential here right now, and there's a lot of snipe potential, especially in a 2v4. And we see Amumu coming up to the top lane right now, just going to go ahead and clear out those minions under turret. And that will be a turret down for both the blue and the red team right now, stuck at 2-2, and Lux going to be very aggressive using her ultimate to clear out these minions so that they can push better on this turret. And now we see Jarvan looking for the potential escape route in case they want to go ahead and go in here. You can see that standard being used, so he can just walk right on out of there. And Lux getting a little bit more poke in.
You got Twisted Fate as well, being a little bit shiny. He isn't going to land that gold card on Jarvan, in fact, but he is going to land that gold card on the Blitzcrank, and that's going to get him a nice kill there. And now the rest of the team is going to go straight onto this Varus. Varus is going to use his flash right now to get straight out of there. But so does Tristana. Nice binding there by Lux to go straight onto Tristana. But the blue team do seem prepared. Here they go.
Yeah, and here's the engagement. The Cataclysm has gone down. You can see the Zanya is coming out, but it is not enough. Varus is locked up, and there is the Amumu ulti. We will surely see Lee Sin fall here. He's going to get exhausted and finally go down, and now it's all about getting out as Tristana and both Janna look to disengage here, not wanting to deal with either of these two right now. And there is the light binding, and the auto attack should be enough. Yes, it will finish her off. Jarvan gonna go ahead and pick that up in a 2-for-2 engage.
That was really good. That was really good. We saw an earlier engagement there by the purple team, counter-engaging on that blue team, they were staying a little bit too long on that bottom turret. They did pick up a couple of kills because of that. However, there was a beautiful counter-engage by Cryptic there when they just chased a little bit too far.
Yeah, and now we're going to have to see really if the red team can come back from this. It's not even that they're far behind. It's always important to keep in mind that League of Legends isn't a game about kills. It's a game about objectives. Whoever takes the Nexus first wins. It doesn't matter if you're 20 kills ahead. If you lose that Nexus first, you still lose. So we're looking at a situation now where they've got a little bit more gold. They have some good map presence right now. And despite the fact that they're behind 2 kills, they do have quite a presence here. So we do see that card coming out, but it is not enough. Lux trying to come in with the snipe, but she's just going to end up wasting that. Did TF actually get that? Oh, yeah, TF actually managed to pick that up with the wild cards. Oh god, that was amazing. What a wonderful play by him. And that means that the Lux ultimate is down. This is a really good time to engage before it comes back up. It's on a very short cooldown, so there is a very small window. If Amumu can come in here, unfortunately his Curse of the Sad Mummy isn't up, but it will be up in a couple seconds, so he's going to try and stick to these guys. Blitzcrank being isolated yet again. Renekton popping his ultimate, and there's the toss back onto Lee Sin. They will manage to pick him up. The Varus ultimate coming out, followed by the Cataclysm to try and lock them up, but unfortunately Lux's ultimate is not up. Twisted Fate trying to come in for the gold card now, trying to go ahead and get on both of these guys. And here we go, Amumu coming in. His ultimate is up now, but he will not continue this pursuit in a 3-for-0 engagement. This is really what they needed. They need to go ahead and take Dragon here, but they need to be really careful because Lux has her ultimate right now, and if she lands a combo, somebody's going to die on the part of the red team. So being careful to stay out of everything here. She's got a little bit of stuff, and oh my god, she manages to steal the dragon, and oh no, there's a binding, and she's gonna take out a Mumu! Oh,
wow. That was really well played there by Lux. She had her ultimate perfectly up there, perfectly timed. She did manage to do those first couple of bindings and stuff to make sure that she knew what the health was. She calculated it perfectly, using that ultimate to basically snipe off a free dragon, and then worked out pretty much where Mumu was going to pick up a kill. She wasn't really entirely prepared to pick up that kill. She didn't realize Mumu was that low, so she didn't really pop her ball straight away, but when she finally saw it, she popped it and got a free kill out of it.
Yep, and now we see Baron here being contested, and we will see Lee Sin go ahead and pick that up. Unfortunately, red team not really in a position to contest that at the moment.
And because of this, they are going to just pick up the blue buff and get themselves in a nice position, ready to start pushing down the lane. They are going to back off, get their mana and health back up, as they should really do. Keep that Baron buff perfectly within their grasp. They don't get counter-engaged upon. Red team kind of just content on being in the defensive position right now. Renekton farming his top lane. They haven't really started pushing that top lane at all, so he's in a nice position to hide under that tower for now.
Yep, and now we have the red team going to go ahead and pursue down this lane. They're going to try and get something out of this, but that Lux laser managing to clear them out. And hang on 1 second, Mystery, if you could go ahead and take over the cast.
That's entirely fine, don't you worry. So we can already see that the blue team, with that Baron buff, now going to start descending on that mid lane. They are in a really strong position right now, however they're not all there. There's only Blitzcrank, Lux, and Jarvan there at the moment. Varus too busy contently going to take this red buff than anything else. We've got In fact, Lee Sin now coming in to join the rest of the team. They're going to take the race right now, whereas Rebel team quite content on just staying back and being very defensive in what they do. Blue team just going to keep pushing up and keep being a constant threat to the red team. Red team just backing up right now, staying underneath their turret, staying in a very defensive position so that they don't get engaged.
Oh no, and Lux coming over here with the QE combo, a nice little bit of damage going down on to Amumu, but nothing else going to transpire of that. You know, Lux, she's got the CDR right now. She's just firing out these combos left and right. She's had some really good snipes these game. It's all going to be about landing these combos. If they want to pressure these turrets right now, what Lux has to do is essentially isolate somebody. She's got to land a full combo, including her ultimate, down onto one of the squishies. That means Tristana, Janna, or Twisted Fate. And after that point, the entire team is going to dive.
Absolutely. As soon as they can get the correct combo off on this red team, they've pretty much got it in the bag. Whereas red team, they are standing right behind their turret right now. They're not letting the binding hit any of them, and that's pretty much what they've got to do right now. As long as they keep back and keep themselves away from any of the blue team's immobilizers or poke, they can do quite a lot with this. So blue team's just gonna get away from that and just focus on something else. They're going to start poking onto this bottom turret instead.
They will easily manage to take this turn. You can see Lee Sin just going full ham there. He's going to pay the price with a little bit of damage going on to him, but be no worse for wear. The Blitzcrank hook won't manage to land. I mean, the red team's best bet is to fight under a turret right now to try and essentially catch everybody out and a Curse of the Sad Mummy. A flash has been burned by Lux. She's immediately going to get out there, perhaps a little bit panicked. She wasn't really too much at risk there, but with that flash down, it's going to give them a little more dive potential down onto this Lux, what they really need right now. You can see her going very brazenly towards that tower. They need to be able to catch her out in order to make this a very advantageous trade. You see Jarvan coming in right now. He's tossed his standard into the back line. Amumu coming in here looking for a chance to get that curse down, and you can see Blitzcrank pulling him right in. Definitely not what you want to do as a Blitzcrank. You never want to pull a Malfighter and Amumu right towards you.
Probably not the best idea. Have the blue team work quite far away to not get engaged on that. Yeah, popping his ulti right now to keep himself far away. He is going to come in. He's going to try and steal this blue buff, but it just wasn't enough. Lux does pick up that blue buff away from the TF. TF not going to be able to snipe it this time around.
And we can see the blue team, you know, earlier in this game, they did have a little bit of a gold advantage by about 2,000 to 3,000 gold. We're slowly starting to see that taper off as the blue team gets a little bit more map control by having those 4 turrets compared to the 3 that have been taken down by the red team. So right now what we're seeing is despite
red
the golden...
team just... Oh.
Go ahead.
The red team are in a position where they've pretty much lucked out in the fact that they did have that early advantage, but now they're starting to see themselves set back. The blue team just focus more on getting turrets rather than getting kills, and that's really what's going to win this game for the blue team. You just focus on getting the turrets down. The kills are going to help, but the main game point to this game is to get the turrets and their base down as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen over this next potential Baron buff. Renekton has been caught out here. He's just going to go ahead and back. You can see all the teams kind of grouping around this top lane right now. But what's more important than that is you can see Lux firing off these lasers right and left to go ahead and clear out the lanes. They really need to take the opportunity to try and catch her out when that laser is down. She's just snowballing out of control right now. Sure, her kit is so effective from such a distance away, especially with the lockdown that Jarvan offers. One Cataclysm into a final spark from this Lux is pretty much going to spell the end of somebody if they're caught out into it. You can see Renekton taking a huge chunk of damage right now before being forced to slice and dice back to his turret.
Blue team putting a lot of pressure on the red team right now, really strong in the fact that they can just pretty much go to any turret they want and apply pressure to the red team in any space of time. They are going to take this top turret, the top Series 1 turret finally, and start progressing onto the Series 2 one.
And now we have Lux once again using that ultimate to go ahead and clear out the wave. This turret is really healthy. They need to take the opportunity here to engage. They need that Curse of the Sad Mummy up to get the lockdown that they can and fight with the turret damage coming out. Even though that Lux ultimate doesn't have a very long cooldown, if they can catch her while it's off, it's going to be enough to essentially isolate her and take her out without having to deal about that huge amount of burst damage. Unfortunately, it's a very small window. We can see Renekton getting caught out here. His ultimate being put down, and he will be forced back quite a bit. His team not wanting to engage in on this, and there we go. There is the Lux ultimate yet again, managing to catch out Tristana in that, and she is in a world of pain right now.
I like how Lux is utilizing her laser quite effectively. She's putting quite a lot of hurt or poke hurt onto the purple team, and the fact that it's up pretty much constantly due to the low cooldown she has on it. Already it's pretty much it's on a 30-second cooldown right now. It is up every 30 seconds. That is really strong for a Lux. They only have a 30-second time span to engage the red team, even to engage onto the team before her Lux laser is up again, and the Lux laser is already up again, and that's going to put blue team in another strong position.
Yeah, a really low cooldown, and you can see that ultimate combo just being burst, and there it is. This is exactly what they needed. They're going to go ahead and catch out Lux here with her ultimate down. She will go ahead and get shut down, and this is going to give the red team the ability to just push and push and push, or even open up a Baron to them right now, which is up.
Without that sniping power that the blue team had before, they can't really steal this from the red team. They are going to have to really pretty much engage on this. Blitzcrank putting a ward down. They know it. They know that Baron's being done. They aren't going to really contest it. They're just going to run away instead and keep away from the red team. Red team managing to maybe turn this around.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lux, you saw her stay back to try and execute a full combo on Tristana. It wasn't just that she missed that full combo, but it's a little bit of greed there, too. You know, she's very far ahead, and she does have the burst potential to isolate anybody she wants and pretty much burst them down, especially somebody squishier like Tristana. So, no, it wasn't just because of the fact that she ulted. It was really just a little bit of greed that ended up kind of making her bite the dust. And in reality, losing those two objectives could have potentially just lost them the game right now. This Baron buff is going to give the red team a lot of pushing potential. The extra gold coming out from both it and Baron has put them back to a 3k gold advantage. If they can manage to do something like what they just did to Lux once more, they're going to have the pushing potential to take out an inhibitor and then really put the pressure on all the other lanes.
Absolutely, and it now comes down to who can lead off the first engagement right now. Will the red team use this Baron buff to make a counter engagement and start pushing down a lane, or will the blue team pull out a move that we haven't really seen yet? Maybe they've been planning something. Maybe they're ready to pretty much engage on them at the precise moment when they're not prepared. So we're just gonna have to see in these last few moments of this game what will happen.
Yeah, we can see the pings coming down right now on the blue team, kind of what Lee Sin wants to go ahead and take out in terms of creep, and then more pings going down where they want to see, where blue team essentially wants to be pushing. We can see Twisted Fate right now, his ultimate is up, so what he's doing is essentially a split push tactic right now. He wants to go ahead and push out the bottom lane as much as possible and make all the use that they possibly can out of this Baron buff right now. Saw Tristana not getting caught out by that ultimate, but Renekton and Amumu taking quite a bit of damage from it. We could see that gold card being used down in the bot lane for no particular reason, and Jarvan coming down here, but immediately you see TF moving up to the mid lane, juking out that TF, forcing him to sit down there for a little bit. So now he either has to sit down there and clear out the minions under that tower, or he has to respawn by coming back up to mid lane where all the push and all the poke is, while the blue team is forced down under their turret right now. And we can see Janna being caught out by Jarvan here. See the flag, and no, the pull. A nice flash by Janna will get her out of that. The light binding going down onto Mumu, and he will be forced out as well.
So many different switchbacks going down right now. We saw the red team earlier on being pretty much stuck underneath their turret, and how times quickly have changed just because of the fact Lux went down. The red team have just turned this entire game around, forcing the blue team to be on the defensive instead right now.
Oh no, and Renekton maybe catching Jarvan out of place. No, he will manage to get away with that standard, but Lux coming in here. Unfortunately for her, her ult not up, so she's not going to be able to capitalize on that snare. You can see the blue team just running back and forth between these towers, clearing out waves and pushing. And Twisted Fate, that split push was absolutely excellent by him. You saw him come up with that ultimate immediately once he had that push, and he essentially forced Jarvan out of there, and now you can see him doing the same thing in the top lane. So while his team turtles, he's going to go ahead and get these turrets. He's going to push for the advantage, and he's going to push for the extra gold that his team really needs to capitalize on. This is an absolutely great tactic on the part of the blue team.
And this is essentially why we can see the TF being banned, because of the fact that he can just go to any lane he wants, has that ultimate up whenever he needs it, and pretty much just roam all throughout the lanes, split pushing any lane he wants. It's now pretty much a rank 3 ultimate right now, so he can pretty much go quite the distance into any lane he really wants. So he can pretty much use his ultimate to go split push, or he can use his ultimate to split push and then use it to get into the team fight when he needs to, which will leave another blue member out of place.
Yeah, now we can see the blue team pushing up on this turret here. They really want this middle turret. They know that Baron buff is down. They don't have to worry about Baron coming up for a couple minutes right now. There's really no reason not to try and take this tower, and then, of course, the inhibitor right after it. So, red team's back in the same position they were a couple minutes ago. The only downside to the position that they're in right now is the fact that they're down about 4,000 gold right now and have to play this very carefully, because that gold advantage is going to start to stack up. They're going to get tankier. They've got the bulwark coming out from Amumu right now, and that is going to be something that is not going to be fun to deal with at all. You can see that ultimate coming out from Twisted Fate to get better bearings on the enemy team right now, so an excellent pickup by him.
Twisted Fate using his ultimate there to just see if he can pick off anyone, not really being able to pick, and not just that, just for the simple fact that he can now pretty much see where all of the enemy team are. Just because he has that ultimate doesn't mean he has to use it to teleport. He can pretty much use it to reveal all champions on the map, and that's really effective to find out where the entire team is. So they can pretty much engage into any situation regardless of whether TF needs to teleport or not.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what happens here. Janna coming in with forcing Jarvan to sit in his jungle for a little bit. It looks like he was a bit distracted with the store. It took him a little bit to get back and get back to that recall. We can see very offensive warding by both teams. Great indicator that, you know, this is a really even game, but everybody's looking to catch someone out, and everybody's looking to make plays around Baron and around the enemy jungle right now. So I almost just called Varus Quinn. Are you kidding me? Like, really? Really? Really?
This is Varus, not Quinn.
Yeah,
Please
I don't know,
name your
but
champion.
the flash pull coming out from Blitzcrank will actually land on a minion, and Twisted Fate will flash out in response to that. But now we can see the red team going to go and group up here, but Amumu nearly caught out. He will manage to get out of there, and Blitzcrank is like, I really don't want to pull this Amumu into everybody right now. Probably not a good idea. And with that ultimate coming out from TF, we will have the vision going down. They know exactly where they are, and some nice warding in their own jungle as the blue team and the red team both look to engage. Red team just gonna go ahead and say, you know what, they're really far back in their jungle because they don't want to engage it on us. How about we go ahead and take this turret?
Good choice by the red team. Their blue team not really in the right place to be able to stop that. They were all way too far away to be able to stop that
no, are they gonna
turret
concede
being
another
pushed down.
Baron? Oh no, this could be absolutely devastating for the blue team. Lee Sin is all the way back in his base, and so much damage is going down onto this Baron buff right now. Jarvan's not going to be able to respond in time, and there it goes. Even with that Lux ultimate coming out, Amumu's going to manage to pick that up without a problem, and this is just going to further the gold advantage for the red team right now.
Red team seem to have spun this back straight into their favor. They're pretty much capitalizing on every mistake that Cryptic's been making in this late game, and Cryptics find themselves getting further and further behind because of it. They're now having to play very defensively just because of the fact that the red team have pretty much found out or capitalized on every mistake that the blue team have made. They've managed to get turrets when they weren't there. They've taken a Baron yet again from under the blue team's nose, just because of the simple fact they saw Lee Sin back, and blue team not making any good choices right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's kind of bit the blue team in the ass during this game has been the fact that Twisted Fate has gone around with a split push potential that really put them back in the game. And not only got them objective control, but got them a gold advantage that they really needed. And unfortunately, with only 2 people here to defend, a nice ult out by Twisted Fate. This will go ahead and give blue team the dragon, but it's not going to do too much to essentially close this gold gap right now. So we can see the red team just going for their blue at the moment as they prepare to group up and push and kind of run with this advantage. So what we're seeing here right now is a situation where the blue team doesn't have a lot of response for the split pushing, and in their attempts to not be caught out, they're conceding towers for it, and it's costing them a lot of gold, it's costing them a lot of map pressure, and it's not something that they're dealing with appropriately at all. You know, they need to focus more on the team fight aspect. They have a very strong team fight potential between the Cataclysm and the ultimate coming out from Lux that they aren't doing too much with at the moment, and we can see them just avoiding using this combo, unfortunately, through about the last 10 minutes, and it's really not going well for them.
Really not well indeed. Blue team in a very difficult position right now to be able to do anything against the red team. Red team pressing their advantage again and again, constantly pushing their thumb down onto the blue team, pretty much prepared to say, look, we're not going to be mucked around with here. This is a semi-final match. We want our chance.
Well, I mean, Anelace has been a team that has come up in this tournament, and they've always done exceptionally well. So it'll be interesting to see if they win, how they fare against Lunet's Empire. Like I said, they're also a team who they've played in this tournament a few weeks under, you know, a slightly different roster and being Lunet's army, but they're all headed up by the same person. So, you know, they're pretty much guaranteed to be like A-list teams. You know, Lunet's army just said, we don't want to go ahead, and we'd like to give somebody else a chance to win the tournament prize, so we'll let some of our other people handle it. That's essentially what happened here, and now we can see that Twisted Fate ultimate being used to get a better bearing on everybody, unfortunately not able to catch somebody out. And ooh, a locket being prematurely used on the part of the blue team that will be down for the next fight, and is certainly going to be an advantage for the red team.
A big advantage for the red team indeed. And just red team utilizing this Baron very well. They're split pushing very effectively. They're doing everything right. Tristana using her, pretty much she's not really with the rest of her team, but she's using that time effectively to split push this bot turret right now, whereas the rest of her team is pretty much pushing their thumb onto the blue team's middle turret. Tristana now moving to the middle to rejoin her team in trying to take another turret. Red team now in the favor of being able to push this turret down.
Well, the biggest thing that's going on right now is we can see that Tristana is getting to the late game. She's got a lot of increased range right now. She's able to poke effectively with Twisted Fate, and you can see that they're able to go up in here, and that the blue team is scared to engage with the Baron buff being on the blue team, and they shouldn't be. They still have a lot of potential coming out from the ultimate combos that they have, and I think they're overestimating what Baron buff can do for this team, and they're pretty much just allowing them to split push and do whatever they want because of how badly they want to turtle.
It's not going well for the blue team whatsoever. They're really not doing very well. They've now noticed that Baron is not down, but they're still seeming very defensive in their moves. They're waiting for a pickup from Blitzcrank, I think, and that's not the really thing you want to do. You just want to surprise them and just go. I think if they just go straight in there and go for the surprise, they may be able to pull off a good set of kills here. And blue team just doesn't seem to want to do that. They just seem to want to be a bit defensive.
Yeah, now we can see the pings going down, the red team returning to split pushing. This is a really good tactic. While Baron is down both the buff and, of course, the objective, they're just taking their time, they're split pushing very easily, they're getting their bearings on where everybody is and using this tactic to go ahead and pressure towers as hard as they can and as safely as they can. It's working out for them because the blue team is careful about roaming as a 5 because they know the dangers of getting picked off by anybody plus TF. So they're so heavily concentrated on roaming as a 5 not to get picked off that they're losing towers in response to this, and they're losing objectives in response to this. You can see nearly a 10k gold advantage on the part of the red team right now as everybody starts to get towards their full builds. And what we're going to see is a little bit more in terms of MR and magic defenses coming out from the red team. They've got a lot of the damage right now that they're pretty much going to need towards this late game. Tristana being a hyper carry, you can see her picking up that Banshee's Veil so she doesn't get burst by Lux. Really smart move on her part.
Very, very, very smart move indeed on her.
My knuckles.
It's cool. Smart move on her part. Red team utilizing every advantage they can to try and push down a turret. However, it just seems back and forth at the moment where both teams seem to be turtling against the other one. They're not really wanting to engage. Not really wanting. It seems the red team wants to engage more than the blue team do. Blue team seems to be in a very defensive stance at the moment and just giving up a lot of stuff because of it. If the red team are just utilizing every advantage they can because of this.
Yeah, and you can see now Tristana's actually at a full build. She's got an IE, a Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer. She's gone for a Last Whisper as well as a Banshee's Veil. Love the Banshee's Veil as a defensive item. I love the Last Whisper right now with some of the armor coming out from the enemy team. And I love the attack speed from the Phantom Dancer, which is going to help to negate a little bit of the debuff coming out from the Randuin's Omen that's sitting on Lee Sin right now. And you can see the red team, they're essentially getting ready for Baron. They're sitting in the enemy's jungle. They're like, we know it's going to be up soon. We're going to take out your ward coverage. We're going to make sure that you either can't see an ambush coming or we're just going to go ahead and take Baron out from under your nose again. The problem is that the blue team, they're finally ready to respond to this. They know that it's going to happen. The other problem, red team's just ready to isolate somebody like this Jarvan who's immediately going to get burst down, and there goes your tank and jungler for the smite. And now with the Shirelles out, they're going to look to go ahead and catch somebody out to the disengage. We can see the flash ultimate and bandage shots coming out from Amumu. That ultimate from Lux only landing on one person, and now you can see Varus and Blitzcrank in a bad position here right now, but ooh, a nice binding on to the Lux here. But Lux, very scary spot for her right now as Tristana jumps in, and it looks like Twisted Fate, and oh no, Twisted Fate actually gonna fall here. And there we go. That is going to be a 4-4-2 exchange in the favor of the red team right now. You see them really just running home with this advantage right now. They've got oracles out for everybody. They have got so much map control right now. They are ready to start doing Baron. In fact, they're just going to use Janna's ultimate to get everybody the health back so that they can do it. This doesn't allow the enemy team to go for a counter Baron once they get up. So despite the fact that top lane is pushing right now, as soon as somebody reses, they're going to have a counter to that. But more importantly, they're going to take a counter Baron off the board for the blue team.
It's gonna put red team in a good position, although TF and Amumu won't get that red buff. Doesn't matter, it does mean that 3 of their team have got the Baron buff instead, and that's gonna be really shush you. And it does mean that
the most important thing is that it's on Tristana right now. That is the most important thing. Tristana is a hyper carry in the late game, and she's at a full build. All they have to do is group up and continue to slowly push this advantage. You notice more than anything that the red team, they're not just saying, oh, well, we're, 10,000 gold ahead, or we're up a few kills, or we have Baron buff, and immediately, diving and rushing into things. They're taking all of their objectives very slowly. They're saying, you know what, we need to split push out slowly. We need to go ahead and work on getting our objectives. We need to get the gold back so we can get to the full build quicker than the enemy team. So they're going for this very slow and I would say a little bit monotonous tactic here, but it's working out for them. They took a game that wasn't going in their favor and essentially turned it around.
Very, very, very much so. Red team in a good position to be able to do this right now, but blue team still have a chance. They still can do something about this. They can still make the move to be able to make they can still make a good decision and turn this around. We know that Varus and Lux have the damage to be able to deal enough onto the red team. However, the red team do have Renekton, Tristana, and TF with enough damage. But not only that, Renekton and Tristana have Baron right now, and that's really strong for the red team. They can just pretty much push up and take this turret. However, they may not, as the blue team seems to have home guard boots on themselves and are ready to counter engage
Good
this.
call. Yeah, and it looks like Renekton gonna get a little bit of poke down onto him as the blue team sort of groups up here and readies himself for an engagement. Thing about the blue team, I think, when they've gone ahead and pushed out lanes or taken any objective, even something small like Baron, when they know that the enemy team is back, they've got vision on them, they're insisting on grouping up as a 5, which would be great, but when you have vision on everybody and you know they're in their mid lane and are more focused on pushing down to your tower, it doesn't take 5 people to do Dragon. And I think little situations like this are slowly costing them the game. I mean, they really have to have a nice hard engage in order to come back from this. But the blue team, they're just like, slow and steady wins the race, and we don't really care about coming in here and 5-man diving you under turret.
Twisted Fate using his destiny again to make sure he knows exactly where all the blue team is, and the blue team seem to be doing what they always seem to have been doing. They're just staying grouped together, they're not getting caught out by TFs, so it's good and bad for the blue team. Being grouped up means they are safe, but it does mean that they cannot capitalize on much.
Yeah, we have the potential double bulwark coming out on the red team right now. Those buffs don't stack, but I suppose it's always good to have that extra MR right now. And we're seeing a lot of people reach their full build potential, with the exception of really the supports. This is going to be something interesting to see as both teams kind of get to full build and this gold advantage starts to matter less and less. It's all going to come down to the execution of the team fights and who is able to split push right now, because that's all I want to see. Like, Twisted Fate needs to split push, they need to continue getting Baron and pick people off. That's all they need to do. Focus on the split push, focus on the pickoffs, and work on getting Baron, and they could go ahead and easily win this game.
It does mean they have to push the other lanes as well as just one. They are probably trying to get enough damage onto the Renekton, taking a little bit of poke from stuff. There goes the Lux Laser once again to try and pick up as much damage as possible, hitting quite a few people.
Yeah, and there's the Zhonya's coming out, and now Renekton going in under the turret. You can see that Zhonya's is down, and there we go. There's the ultimate coming out from Amumu. Lee Sin going to fall, a turret going down. Renekton not getting out. He will fall to the Blitzcrank, and now there we go. The Jarvan is out. That double kill is down. Tristana bursts down to her GA, and now they're going to come in. Advantage toss not landing, and there we go. The triple kill coming out, and oh no! Oh, the double kill from Varus as Lux picks up one as well, and that will be a 3 for ace exchange in the favor of the blue team.
Yep, and it does mean that the red team are down for 50 plus seconds right now because it's so late into the game. It does mean that they are in a quite bad position. However, Lux does have to back off and defend that top lane at the moment, since they did take that top turret. Varus, the only one there to be able to push or begin the push and descent onto the mid turret. They are going to get a turret down because of this. However, the red team did get a turret down as well, but they may not be able to get an inhibitor down. So it's very much back and forth right now.
This isn't all bad for the red team, though. They are going to lose an inhibitor here, but what that fight opened up, you know, I would have liked to see them do something like this 10 minutes ago. But it's opened up the inhibitor in the base for them. It's going to give them a little bit of space to move around without having to worry about the turret damage, and it may allow them to go ahead and take an inhibitor, which is really going to be helpful. But the problem is with these super minions coming out and all the other lanes naturally pushing, it'll make it a lot more difficult to split push. So it's certainly not the best thing for them, but the engagement could have been a lot worse. That turret could still be up, they could still have to deal with that damage, but at least now they've got an open inhib. They've got a very clear objective now. And unfortunately, Tristana, yeah, as is pointed out, she does not have GA. I'd really like to see her pick up another defensive item. She actually just sacked her her Banshee's Veil for a GA. I would have liked to see her have both for the defensive capabilities coming out from it. She's already hyper carry in the late game. She's going to be pelting out plenty of damage, especially with that last Whisper. So the people building to counter her right now, like Jarvan and like Lee Sin, are just not going to have a good time overall.
Nope. Definitely not. We can already see Lee Sin has that random. He's also managed to pick up a Thorn Mail. You don't really see this item used much anymore within these large games because it's just one of those items that's not really used a lot. However, Thornmail does not mean to say that Thornmail is a bad item. It does still have a lot of uses, especially against this Tristana. And I think Tristana heard what you were talking about there and has managed to sack her GA and pick up a Banshee's Veil instead. So I don't know if she's doing this to utilize both the defensive.
Through cooldowns right now.
But yeah, this is what I'm thinking. So I think that's a good choice, but on her part, the fact that she's picked up the Banshee's Veil while the GA is on cooldown, and she's probably going to rotate them back around when GA is back up for her.
Yeah, so now we can see the contesting over Baron is about to happen. We are going to see the Baron dance as the red team looks to catch somebody out here. They're all grouped up, they're pushing down mid lane. And you can see the blue team moving over through their jungle, and this could be scary right here. The red team knows exactly where they are. They've got the cards coming out, and here is Amumu going to go in with an excellent Curse of the Sad Mummy. Renekton trying to get over to this wall, but unfortunately unable to respond. Blitzcrank will go down immediately, and there is a Cataclysm. Lux coming out with that ultimate, and Lee Sin will manage to take out TF, but in return he will pay with his life. And there we go, but he's going to manage to get a double kill in the meantime. Holy hell, that Lee Sin!
Wow, Lee
I
Sin
expected him to
taking...
go down so much quicker. And he was just like,
He
nope,
popped
I
his
got lifesteal.
iron... It's not just that, he managed to pop his Iron Will just in time to stop himself from going down as quick as he was, which means he did manage to pick up that Amumu kill just when he needed to. It does mean that there's only a Varus and a Lux pretty much contesting this Baron right now, and they're going to just do it themselves, whereas Tristana and Janna are just going to defend their top and bottom turrets right now. That's pretty much all they can do.
Yeah, they're gonna manage to sneak this Baron. I mean, red team is none the wiser. They can two-man it at this point. That's not going to be a problem. So now that they've taken this, they're gonna return to base, but they're gonna be the only two with it on their team. The good part about that is both of their carries that have that buff, so no real issue for them there, as the red team unfortunately just has to concentrate on clearing out their base, and they're going to have to continue to concentrate on this until their inhibitor comes back up.
The Blitzcrank now getting a Banner of Command, another item that I don't really see in these high-end games, but it's not a bad item. Can utilize a nice Uro, giving a 10 plus health regen, as well as giving nearby allied minions a 15% extra damage and ability to promote another creep, so it's going to help push some lanes, which is not too bad, but you just don't really see it in these sort of scenarios anymore.
Yeah, and we're seeing things constantly swinging back and forth in this game. It's in the blue team's favor, it's in the red team's favor, it's in the blue team's favor, just over and over again. You can see Cataclysm down and the Flash forced out by this Jarvan right now, but that is going to be an ulti down for the team. Meanwhile, Curse of the Sad Mummy is still up, so this could be pretty good for them right here. We'll have to see if they can go ahead and capitalize on this. Everybody's pretty much at full builds right now. There's really no problem with any of this, and you can see Blitzcrank and Lux trying to take advantage of essentially what is a ward bait right now. And then going in for this tower, and Amumu is looking for the opportunity to engage here, but he's a little, it looks like he's a little hesitant too. And there we go, there's the engage, Curse the Sad Mummy on, and there's the ultimate from Lux. Amumu getting down very low, and it looks like Tristana will go ahead and get right back into the action. Lee Sin gonna go ahead and take her out. Varus picking up Renekton, and now we can see potentially what may be the end of the game here as Amumu goes down and the Zanyas is forced out, and there we can see a nice disengage from the Janna in a 2-for-3 engagement, but this is also going to result in another inhibitor, if not some Nexus turrets.
It's going to come down to these final moments where we can see the red team starting to fall under the thumb of Cryptic's constant amount of turtling. They did manage to pull through right now. They're going to take out the first inhibitor turret. They're going to go for the second one. Oh no! Down goes Lee Sin thanks to TF, and this may be a Varus going down as well. However, he does have his GI up. They are going to go straight onto the TF. TF's going down as well as Varus. It's now only Janna versus Lux. Lux is going to go straight for the Nexus instead. She's just auto-attacking that Nexus as much as possible. She knows if she can get this Nexus down, she's moving all her damage straight onto the Janna right now. Janna cannot stop her. It is going to be a GG, a Cryptic win with 2 minutes on the clock.
Oh, thank God we're
Wow.
done with that. So Cryptic will be moving on to the finals of this TowerDiveTV Weekly at number 25. They'll be going against Lunet's Empire. Should be a very interesting game, so we'll have to see what happens with this as we get into the next match. Please enjoy the music in the meantime, and hopefully we'll be getting into here momentarily.